Hello everybody, welcome back to BareRose Garage. What's going on? Well, it's nice and chilly out here, and well, yeah, the weather has changed. It's what happens. You can see I still got the 58 in the garage here. I'm still in the process of cleaning up and getting things moved around. It's taking a little bit longer than I thought, but I thought, hey, here's a good topic for a video. As I was cleaning up, and I found a few things. One of the biggest misconceptions of all of the things that I have found out here doing this kind of stuff is, well, two things. Number one, the dyno. What does a dyno actually do? What is it for? Number two, and it's a big one. This little guy right here, the tach. Have you ever noticed a tach is generally the biggest gauge you got? When you look in a race car, what is it? Where is a tach? It's usually great big. It's got a great big old light on it, like a shotgun pointed at you, and it sits right up on the dash where you can't take your eyes off of it. You can look through it and you can see that tach because it's huge. You know, everybody has seen the race cars with the great big tach. What is that for? What are they doing with that? And what has that got to do with the dyno? I'll show you. Okay, first things first, what does a dyno tell you? Well, basically, a dyno is going to give you two numbers. Well, four numbers, really. And I'll show you the primary purpose of a dyno. Everybody knows, okay, when you first start out, you have your torque band, which comes up like this. Let's just say it goes like that. Each one of these is an RPM point, all the way across here. Then you have your horsepower band that comes in like that, and then it drops down. This is pretty radical here, but you get what I mean. This is a red line, and this is a blue line or a green line or whatever. What it's doing is it's telling you your peak, this is where it stops, and this is where it stops right here. It's telling you your peak torque and horsepower. This one's horsepower, this one is your torque. Yeah, like I can spell that. Anyway, so let's say your peak torque here as at, I'm just going to make some numbers up for easy, 2500, and out here let's go to 6000. That's a heck of a curve, but you get the point here. Now, that's pretty much what a dyno is for. All it is giving you the peak numbers for both of these at where it's at here. Now, the reason for that, and back in the old days on a tach, I've seen a lot of them, the older tachs, that actually had two of these little guys. You see that right there? That's a Redline. Well, there used to be two of them on there. A lot of them I seen were like a blue or a green line that you could set as well. So you could set one for one and one for the other one. What were those two lines? Those two lines are right here. Same thing. What you do is when you get your dyno results, if it's a single like this one, it's generally horsepower. You set it for your peak RPM point for when you're getting the most horsepower out of it. This one's 6000, so we'll set our red line right there at 6000. Now I know a lot of us were taught from birth, from the first time we put the keys in our hand, that red line means don't go past it. If you get to there, the engine's going to blow up and you're going to die in a fiery death. Why? Well, it's probably because you were still on your parents' insurance, and, well, your dad didn't want to fix the car because you was out hot rodding it. The red line is actually where your peak horsepower comes into play. The other number, like I was saying, was your peak torque. Torque is the measure of force that gets you out of the hole. That's your 60 foot. Anything past that in a drag racing situation is your horsepower. The torque gets you out of the hole, gets you moving. Your horsepower takes over and carries you down through the line. That's pretty much what a dyno is there for. It's to show you, measure that for you. Now, of course, you can use a dyno in other ways. You can dyno tune it. That's when you take it in and they actually tune your car to get the most out of what it is that you've got. You know, I can't tell you what the dyno results are going to be. That's just when they go in, you know, they adjust timing, the carburation, the fuel injectors, the fuel pressure, all of that to get your optimum peak performance out of whatever it is you're going to give them. There's two types of dynos too. There's a chassis dyno and there's, you know, flywheel dyno, engine dyno. Chassis dyno will tell you what the car has got, you know, because that goes through the drivetrain and everything, and it's power to the rear wheels. The engine dyno is just telling you for the engine itself. And then, you know, then it gets complicated after that. Plus, at the end of the day, it gives you that nice little piece of paper that you got for bragging rights if somebody asks you, how much horsepower is in it? See, I got proof it's got this much. But that actually means nothing. How you correspond that is where you set your red line on your tach. Now, why do you set it there? Because as you can see on the graph I got right here that I just really crudely drew up, as you're giving it the gas, I'm just going to do horsepower for this one. As you're giving it the gas and you're taking off, you're getting horsepower. If I was to shift right here, that's all the horsepower that engine's got. If I was to shift here, that's all that engine's got. What I want to do is I want to shift, set my shift light for right there, right at its peak, because that's right at the moment that it's got all of it. Because if I let it go past that, I'm actually losing horsepower. I lose it, I lose it. I got all of it right there. So I want to set my red line right for there. Now some of the tricks with especially with bracket racers, they'll take their shift light and actually delay it. They'll actually set it just a little bit early from their peak. And that, it's just like when you're watching the tree, you know, when you're first staged in and you're watching, everybody knows you don't go on green, because if you go on green, yeah, you're going to camp out there and you're going to blow the light, right? Same thing, they'll adjust their shift light just a little bit early so they can constantly be there, because your reaction time to hit the shifter for the shifter, you know, cable or solenoid, whatever combination you got, is going to shift it in, and the microsecond delay that all takes place to actually pop you into the next gear. So yeah, drag racers they'll adjust their shift light just a little bit early to always keep them in that sweet spot, that peak horsepower sweet spot. Anyway, that's what well, it's a real broke down, easy generalization of what a dyno is for. Now, back in the days, or if you're cheap like me, you can't afford to take your car or your engine in to get it dynoed, because that stuff ain't cheap. You do it off the seat of the pants. To do it that way, it's a little more dangerous, because you're feeling it as you're going. You're just giving it all she's got. You can actually do this from first gear. You just feel the car all the way up, and then when it starts to drop off, watch that tach, back it off to right in. You keep playing with it until you get it, like I said, really close to where your red line is. Anyway, that's my little tidbit on it, and the secrets to getting extremely fast with just a good tach. And well, you can jump it up with a shift light, and where that red line actually is at your peak performance area, and how you adjust where that peak performance area comes in. well, that's when you start playing with intakes and cams, and you know, it goes on and on from there. But that's what that's all for. I hope that helps somebody out there. In the meantime, I'm going to get a little bit warm in here and finish cleaning up so I can get the next project in there. So get out there and get that metal hot, and keep that Redline right where she needs to be, and that peak horsepower just banging on them gears. We'll catch you on the next one.